I'm honoured to be here today speaking for the Davis family. And when I was thinking about what I would say up here, lucky was not the first word that came to mind, but the more I recalled about life with Dad, the more I realised how extraordinarily fortunate we all were as a family to have him as a father, a husband, a grandfather, a provider, a protector, a role model and a friend. He was a very open, very friendly man, someone who was always happy to listen to someone's story and respond with one of his own. Now, I hate to bring it up, but Dad wasn't a cat man from day one. He was actually a Swans fan when he was young, even to the point where he was regularly showing up at Lake Oval, pestering them for a spot on their team. But we all do stupid things when we're young, so we're going to let that slide. Everyone's by now familiar with his catchphrase, fair dinkum unbelievable, which I believe he actually copyrighted. And I'll sometimes realise to my amazement that I'm telling people there's no two ways about it. And while I never heard a single swear word cross Dad's lips in all the years I knew him, if you heard the term strike me, you knew you'd done something terribly wrong. Now, because footy was such a big part of Dad's life, it was also a big part of ours. I can't begin to express how happy we were as a family when the Cats broke their 44-year premiership drought in 2007. We were all together to share in the magic of that day. There was nothing finer that day than Dad's obvious joy at being asked to present the cup to the team. He was a mate to all of us here today, in one way or another. That whether you saw him on the footy field or on television, whether you were lucky enough to meet him for 5 minutes or you were blessed enough to know him all your life, we love you, Bob, but we are richer in so many ways for having had you in our lives.
I suppose I'm going to miss most about making a contribution today is the fact that Bob's not in the audience. He was so many times when I was hosting functions, particularly at the pivots at the Geelong Footy Club, at home games, and if someone was running late or I'd run out of ideas, I could always throw to Bobby and he'd have something to share, a little historical fact or just a response. At the very least, I could call out to Bob across the room and say, what do you think of the new advantage rule, Bob? And the room would go quiet, waiting for the response. It's fair dinkum unbelievable. For 61 years, Bob was involved in football, 61 of his 82 years.